Assalamualaikum and hello boys and girls. I hope everyone is ready for our lesson. We're still in Unit 8 and the topic for today is a city from the past. It means sebuah bandar di zaman dahulu. Alright boys and girls, before that, let's take a look at the lesson objectives for today. Objektif pembelajaran untuk hari ini. Number 1, I can fill in the blank with the correct words. Objektif pembelajaran hari ini yang pertama, apa yang akan kamu dapat ialah saya akan dapat mengisi tempat-tempat kosong dengan perkataan-perkataan yang betul. Number 2, I can read sentences and answer questions about city in the past. Saya boleh membaca ayat-ayat dan menjawab soalan-soalan tentang city in the past. Okay, boys and girls. Okay, firstly, let's do some revision about the topic we have learned before, which is the use of was and were. Okay, for singular objects such as he, she, dia. He, dia untuk lelaki, and she, dia untuk for girl. And Ali. Okay, these words are singular untuk satu, seorang. We use is for present tense untuk sekarang, but in the past tense untuk perkara yang dah berlalu, we change is to was. Kita tukar is kepada was. Okay. But for plural objects such as you, we and they, okay, we use are for present tense untuk sekarang. But in the past tense untuk masa lalu, okay, we use were. Okay class, before we start our lesson, okay, let's look at some of the vocabulary in the text we are going to read after this. Okay, the first one is shopping center. Okay, repeat after me, ikut teacher. Shopping center. Number 2, noisy. Noisy, it means busy. Full of people. Full of people, penuh dengan orang ataupun ramai orang. Shops. Shops, kedai-kedai. Theater. Theater, panggung. Horses. Horses. Carriages. Carriages, kereta kuda. Okay class, I hope everyone is ready with your English textbook. Get Smart +3. Now let's listen and read a passage in page 78. A city from the past.
Module 8. Our World. Social Studies.
A city from the past. This is a picture of New York City in the year 1900. It was very different then. There weren't any shopping centres or cinemas, but there were shops and theatres. There weren't many cars back then, but there were lots of horses and carriages. The streets of New York City weren't quiet. They were noisy and full of people, just like today.
Okay, for those who still not understand the meaning of the whole text, okay, let me read for you once again. But please listen carefully. Okay, bagi yang masih tak faham maksud keseluruhan cerita ni, Okay, teacher akan bacakan untuk kamu, but you must listen carefully. Kamu mesti dengar betul-betul. Okay, are you ready? Okay, let's start. This is a picture of New York City in the year 1900. Okay, inilah gambar picture of New York City, bandar New York pada tahun 1900. It was very different then. Okay, ia sangat berbeza ketika itu. Different, berbeza. Then, ketika itu, there weren't any shopping centers or cinemas, but there were shops and theaters. Okay, di sana tidak ada sebarang shopping centers or cinemas, but tetapi terdapat shops and theaters. Pada masa tu tak ada shopping centers or cinemas, tapi yang ada shops and theaters. There weren't many cars back then. Okay, di sana tidak ada weren't many cars, banyak kereta-kereta ketika itu. Back then, ketika itu. But there were lots of horses and carriages. Tetapi di sana ada banyak horses and carriages. So, these are carriages. The streets of New York City weren't quiet. Okay, streets, jalan-jalan di bandar New York tidak senyap. They were noisy and full of people, just like today. Okay, jalan-jalan tu bising dan penuh dengan orang seperti hari ini. Alright class, I hope you understand the meaning of the text we have read. Saya harap kamu dah faham maksud teks yang dah kita baca. Okay, now we look at the question. Kita tengok pula pada soalan. Okay, the first question. What is the name of the city? Okay, can you get the answer? Yes, from the first paragraph, daripada perenggan pertama. Okay, the first line. Okay, baris yang pertama. This is a picture of New York City in the year 1900. So, your answer. This is New York City in the year 1900. Okay, next question. Were there any shopping centers and cinemas? Adakah di sana terdapat shopping center and cinemas? So, where is the answer? Okay, look at the sentence. There weren't any shopping centers or cinemas. So, the answer is no, there weren't. No, there weren't. Were there any shops and theaters? Adakah terdapat shops and theaters? Where is the answer? There were shops and theaters. Maksudnya terdapat kedai dan theaters. So, if yes, the answer, yes, there were. Were there many cars back then? Adakah terdapat banyak cars back then? Ketika itu. Where is the answer? There weren't many cars back then, but there were lots of horses and carriages. So, your answer, no, there weren't. Jika jawapannya tidak ada, no, there weren't. Tak ada cars ketika itu. Jadi, no, there weren't. Apa yang ada masa tu? There were lots of horses and carriages. Were the streets quiet back then? Adakah jalan-jalan senyap ketika itu? Back then. Okay, please refer to the text once again. Rujuk pada teks ni lagi sekali. Where can you get the answer? Yes, in the last paragraph. Okay, the streets of New York City weren't quiet. They were noisy and full of people. So the answer, if the answer is no, they weren't. They were noisy and full of people back then. Okay, ketika itu jalan-jalan juga bising dan penuh dengan orang. Back then, ketika itu. Okay, boys and girls, now let's do some comparison. Our city, Kuala Terengganu City, and back then, ketika dahulu, and now. Okay, this one for past tense, untuk suatu ketika dahulu. There was a railway station in Dungun. So we use was in past tense. Dah untuk perkara yang dah berlaku. There was a railway station in Dungun. So what is railway station? Station kereta api. Ketika dahulu, so we use was. What about now? Was we use is. Today, untuk hari ini, there is no railway station in Dungun. Kalau sekarang, we use is. In the past time, we use was. Okay. There were many boats near Pasar Payang. Terdapat banyak boats. Berhampiran Pasar Payang were. If now, we use are. This one for plural, untuk banyak. So, we use were. Okay, for singular, untuk satu, there was a market. There was a market, but there weren't any shopping centres. Terdapat sebuah pasar, tetapi tidak terdapat sebarang shopping centres. The streets. Okay, now look at the streets. Okay, the streets were quiet. Okay, we use were because the word before is in plural. Okay, we can see S here. So the word is in plural. So we use were. There were many bicycles, but there weren't many cars back then. Okay, ketika itu terdapat banyak basikal. Okay, look at here as bicycles, plural, so we use were. But there weren't. Kalau tak ada, weren't many cars back then. Tidak terdapat banyak kereta ketika itu. Okay, class, look at an exercise on page 62 in your activity book. Okay, the instruction. Look at the picture of this town from the year 1900 and write. Okay, before that, let's read the words in this blue box. Baca dulu perkataan dalam kotak biru ni. Okay. Was, quiet, carriages, weren't, were, cars. Okay, now look at this exercise. There are blanks that you need to fill in using the words here. Terdapat tempat-tempat kosong yang kamu kena isikan dengan perkataan yang diberikan. Okay, now look at the first sentence. In the year 1900, the streets blank noisy. So what is streets? Yes, jalan-jalan. Can you find the answer? Yes, weren't. Okay, now look at number 2. They were blank. Yes, quiet. So, pada tahun 1900 jalan-jalan tidak bising. Kalau tak bising, they were quiet. Okay, sunyi. There weren't any blanks, but there were horses and blanks. So what is the answer for number 3? Cars. There weren't any cars. Tidak terdapat kereta, tetapi yang ada hanyalah kuda-kuda and yes, carriages dan kereta kuda. Number 5. There blanks a few shops. Shops. And there a theater too. So number 5. Yes, were. There were a few shops and there. Okay, for a theater, untuk satu sahaja we use was. Okay, and there was a theater too. Okay, I hope you guys understand the topic we have learned today. Okay, so please do the exercise given by your teacher. You can refer to this video anytime if you want to understand more. Okay, so that's all for today. Goodbye and good luck.